Revolving the gloomy thoughts which I have just recorded, I had entered the courtyard of the Guermantes' mansion, and in my absent-minded state I had failed to see a car which was coming towards me. The chauffeur gave a shout, and I just had time to step out of the way, but as I moved sharply backwards, I tripped against the uneven paving stones in front of the coach-house, and at the moment when, recovering my balance, I put my foot on a stone which was slightly lower than its neighbour, all my discouragement vanished, and in its place was that same happiness which, at various epochs of my life, had been given to me by the sight of trees which I had thought that I recognized in the course of a drive near Baalbec, by the sight of the twin steeples of Martinville, by the flavour of a madeleine dipped in tea, and by all those other sensations of which I have spoken, and which the last works of Vintuli had seemed to me to combine the quintessential character. Just as, at the moment when I tasted the madeleine, all anxiety about the future, all intellectual doubts had disappeared, so now those that a few seconds ago had assailed me on the subject of the reality of my literary gifts, the reality even of literature, were removed as if by magic. I had followed no new train of reasoning, discovered no decisive argument, but the difficulties which had seemed insoluble a moment ago had lost all importance. The happiness which I had just felt was unquestionably the same as that which I had felt when I tasted the madeleine soaked in tea. But if on that occasion I had put off the task of searching for the profounder causes of my emotion, this time I was determined not to resign myself to a failure to understand them. The emotion was the same. The difference, purely material, lay in the images evoked. A profound azure intoxicated my eyes. Impressions of coolness, of dazzling light, swirled around me, and in my desire to seize them, as afraid to move as I had been on the early occasion when I had continued to savor the taste of the madeleine while I tried to draw into my consciousness whatever it was that it recalled to me, I continued, ignoring the evident amusement of the great crowd of chauffeurs, to stagger as I had staggered a few seconds ago, with one foot on the higher paving stone and the other on the lower. Every time that I merely repeated this physical movement, I achieved nothing. But if I succeeded, forgetting the Guermantes party, in recapturing what I had felt when I first placed my feet on the ground in this way, again the dazzling and indistinct vision fluttered near me, as if to say, "Seize me as I pass if you can, and try to solve the riddle of happiness which I set you." And almost at once I recognized the vision. It was Venice, of which my efforts to describe it and supposed snapshots taken by my memory had never told me anything, but which the sensation which I had once experienced as I stood upon two uneven stones in the baptistery of St. Mark's had, recurring a moment ago, restored to me complete with all the other sensations linked on that day to that particular sensation, all of which I had been waiting in their place, from which, with imperious suddenness, a chance happening had caused them to emerge in the series of forgotten days. This is a beautiful passage that is talking about memory, how sensation retrieves memory for us. And it was just so beautiful that I had to share. Quite often in my life, I know that I've smelled something or tasted something or just been in a place with some indescribable sensation that reminds me of some time in the past, and sometime in the past where I was extremely happy. So I'll just leave that there as I continue on with Proust here, 256 pages into Time Regained.